Hi everyone. We're going to start the demonstration with a staff login to get started on how we do student enrollment in the system, two-factor authentication, single sign-on, and rostering in outside resources. So the first thing that happens is a staff member logs into the system. The system is accessible from the internet for staff members, but obviously not for students. This is a normal staff login. So when I say staff, this is probably someone at the Department of Corrections who works at a facility, is in charge of making sure devices get handed out to students. Their primary task to begin with is to create a student. And so for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to create a student. I'm going to input them in a facility, give them a name. Now the system will handle direct assignment of devices, one-to-one assignment of devices, or give you a little more space, one-to-one assignment of devices, or it will allow for all students to access all devices or any combination of both. This is talking to your Google admin portal to find devices and assign it to a student if you choose to. We also, at creation of the user, can enroll the user automatically in outside resources or set up their single sign-on into each existing resource. And so in the demo, I only have 3 sites here. You might have 20 or 30, you might have 2. However it is, the system handles it. For one example, we've already got usernames. CareerSafe is a LMS that's online. We can assume that the vendor has provided us usernames and passwords. We input it now. Another example is Khan Academy. That is one where we can go out and actually create the user. It's a free resource and their password. These things will be automatically input on behalf of the users, so they don't need to know them. And FAFSA is another good one where users are going to go create their own account, but we want to make sure that they are set up with our account because we can parse their emails to get them things like two-factor authentication codes. So I'm going to go ahead and create the student. I've done that now. And the student has been created, and you'll see it's going to take about a minute and a half. The Khan Academy account is going out to the internet to be created. And I can now log into this device as the student. Something worth noting is that, of course, we can use your domain, but also these do not require Google licenses. These seats are just identities, and they are free. You do not need Google licenses as part of this system. So if I'm that user, I'm going to log into the account now. This is the only password that the user ever needs to know, and it's in fact the only password that the user can ever use. All other passwords are auto-input by the system, and I'll show you what that means here as we get logged in as a student. The students will, the first time they log in, be auto-authenticated into the system here. What we'll see is there's a learning management system, and we'll get to that in a second. But right now, for the two-factor authentication and the rostering that we've just done, I want to go ahead and show you CareerSafe, as we can see, is the first one here. We've given them this username and this password. They don't know it. When they go to sign in, any website that has a login form will automatically look for the credentials that staff have provided them and input them in those fields. And the user's keyboard is locked. I can't delete this. I can't change this. I can't see it. I can't do anything with it. The only thing I can do is sign in. And so this allows me to sign into a learning management system without having to know my password or be able to share my password. So I can log into CareerSafe like that. The Khan Academy, we went ahead and we fully registered the student. This is that student's password. You could go to the Khan Academy website and sign in as that student. The student has no idea what that password is. When they go to log in, you can see there's a username and password field that has been auto-input. Any of these other things are, of course, disabled. They're either blocked or we just don't have access to them because of the allow listing of the site. And so if I were to log in, I can log in as that student. Again, don't see the password, don't know the password, but I'm logged into Khan Academy, and it'll have me get started creating that account. Where this gets really neat is when we actually have to use two-factor authentication, like we might on the FAFSA website. But real quickly, for a student who we did not assign permissions to, for this is an EBSCO site, we did not assign permissions. This is what happens when they go to any website. The website has to be allowed, but if the website is allowed, but they do not have permission to access it individually, this is what happens. They cannot get in, they can't type anything, it's automatically blocked. And so going back to the FAFSA, which is when we did give them access to, I can walk you through how two-factor authentication works. So they create the account. They're going to get started, which you'll see here. The user is going to go ahead and create. Just going to say I don't have a social for the purposes of the demo. Press continue. So now FAFSA wants to send them an email, and we have access to their email inbox. They do not. So FAFSA is going to send them an email looking for a two-factor authentication code. That code is getting delivered through the LMS, and you can see here in the external email section, the approved senders include do not reply at studentaid.gov. If a message is received from that sender, the body of the email is sent onto the student's inbox so the student can read it, but they cannot reply to it. So the student, in their messages section now, will have an email from the FAFSA. So this came in seconds ago, 375379. It's a read-only email. They cannot reply to it, but it gets them their code. So they can now enter 375379. Make sure I got that right. Yes, and continue. And so now the email address has been verified. They are allowed to two-factor authenticate into the FAFSA, complete their application, and apply for FAFSA aid, doing all of these sorts of steps. So that's really how we handle the initial setup of students. The next section will be a teacher's view, not the staff view, and we'll go through student usage of the system.